fortune of being a teacher, and I'm so happy to see so many young people here today. और आप जो यहाँ आए हैं, students की बात कर रही हूँ मैं. How many want to be teachers? क्या कोई टीचर बनना चाहता है आपसे? Nobody? एक भी नहीं? That is really sad. But that unfortunately is where we are today. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Chaturvedi, for this invitation to speak about challenges and opportunities in 2030. So what does 2030 hold for us? And what can we do as educationists and as students to make this as best as possible? We live in what is called a VUCA world: volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And the panel discussion that follows will be looking at this kind of world and how you, as young people, are going to be able to thrive in it. India, we are poised to be an 8 to 10 trillion dollar economy by 2030. Presently, we are 2 trillion. Our population is slowing down, the growth rate, and people are getting older. Senior citizens like me will be many more when you grow up. The urban-rural split, it's now becoming much closer. 50-50. By 2030, 50% of our population will be living in cities. So you can imagine how congested our cities are going to be, and 50% will live in the rural areas. Surprisingly, ये बातें हमने 16 साल पहले, 8 साल पहले की थी at a conference, a global education conference in the year 2016. FICCI had organized it, and people, educators came from across the globe. सोच यही थी कि what will 2030 look like? हमारे पास 4 सवाल थे. Number 1, how will the world change in the next 20 years? Number 2, how will this change affect jobs and affect our lives? Number 3, what skills and knowledge will you need to be able to get jobs that you want in the world in 2030? And what they saw were 4 key changes. 4 चीजें. Number 1, the biggest change was digitalization of the economy and society. Nobody foresaw that the pandemic would come in 2019. All of us who sat in 2016, हमें बिल्कुल नहीं मालूम था कि 2019 में कोविड के कारण schools would close down for the longest period. What happened? All of a sudden, education embraced technology. You will remember, आपकी classes online हो गई थी. Were the teachers prepared? बिल्कुल नहीं. We had to learn, and we had to learn fast. Many children got left behind. Those who were underserved, जिनके पास devices नहीं थे या tablets नहीं थे, उनको फर्क पड़ा. And we are still trying to bridge the gaps of that time of 20. For us, the opportunity is, let's train our teachers in technology, making sure it is part of their training in the teacher training institutes. Let's make sure that we do it even in our schools. That we use technology in creative ways to make learning fun for you through gamification. Looking at technology that appeals to young people. Forecast was ऑटोमेशन एंड आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस। आज हम सब इन चीज़ों की बात कर रहे हैं। AI किस तरह यूज़ होनी चाहिए कि नहीं in education, and what can we do about it? The major challenge here is jobs will be lost. How can we prepare children who are going to go into the workforce to be able to take the jobs जो अब automated हो गई हैं or have gone to robots? The third piece was on climate change. Climate change is upon us. Our air is polluted. हम अभी बात कर रहे थे कि जब सुबह उठो तो आपके गले में जो खराश आती है, कभी कभी ऐसा लगता है कि मैं सांस नहीं ले पा रही। Our water is polluted. कौन ठीक करेगा इन चीज़ों को? Political will is required to fix it. But schools and you and I and parents have a responsibility. It is only through community mobilization and when we begin to teach ecology and environmental conservation will we be able to bring about a change. The third trend was an internet-centric society. All of you are on the net. Everybody has a smartphone. अभी किसी ने प्रश्न पूछा, जवाब हमारे पास था नहीं। हमारे बीच में सर ने इमीडिएटली गूगल को खोला और जवाब दे दिया। बट गूगल के अलावा ह्यूमैनिटी आजकल is spending more time looking down on the phone than it is looking up. गूगल के अलावा जो सोशल मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स हैं जिनमें हम अपने आप को भूल जाते हैं are really dangerous. And what we have to learn as educators and as schools, how do we teach our children media literacy? Not to give themselves up to the algorithms of these huge IT companies that are making such a million. But most of all, 5 other points, and then I'll stop. We have to adapt education for future skills. Our current education model is flawed because we are training you for skills that are not needed anymore, for skills of the past and not of the future. We cannot teach people to be creative. Get it in creativity, 21st century skills. We cannot teach people to be creative by giving them standard tasks. We have to give them tasks that stimulate or at least address their creativity. We can't teach people to be collaborative by putting them in competition with each other. It has to be much more project-based, much more collaboration, and I speak to school principals and educators when I say this. We cannot teach people to be lifelong learners if we don't allow them to explore, and if we constantly say, you have failed. How many young people have ended their lives because of failure? We can't continue to say that intelligence is more important than the heart. We can't do that. Cognitive skills are important, but emotion is equally important. And how do we keep emotion in the curriculum? We keep emotion in the curriculum by making sure we give opportunities of learning through the arts. हमने arts को तो wipe out कर दिया अपने system से, and we only teach to the exam and so on. We invest in our teachers because our teachers will have to learn to be collaborative, to be able to connect, to coach, to mentor, to follow research-driven pedagogy and project-based pedagogy. And last but not least, हमारे पास इतना वक्त नहीं है for these changes. हमारे पास 10-20 साल नहीं रहे हैं, हमारे पास 20-30 के लिए 5 साल रहे. And in these 5 years, unless we make changes in our curriculum, in our assessment, we bring more teachers in, we change our teacher training institutes and make them like our IIMs, so people want to go there, we aren't going to see any changes. This transformation will be so powerful if the private and the public sector came together. And they work together with the belief, the central idea that every child in this expo today, outside and inside this room, has the right to a good education, be it private or public. Thank you.